Okay, we are going live in 3, 2, 1. Hopefully, we are live. Give it a few seconds because internet is usually finicky. And I'm also gonna confirm by the chat. It looks like we have only one viewer, and that could be just me. So we can't hear you, Shreya. You are on mute. So
Give it some time.
you
They'll
will
join.
will wait. So I'm assuming okay, so Fatima did say hello, so she might be watching. Okay, there are two viewers. Hooray.
Hi, Fatima. And hi, the other person who I don't know.
Okay, cool. We're gonna just give a few more minutes. We have Ria here. That's nice. Hi, Ria. Uh, we will wait for 1 second, a few more minutes. Okay, cool. Fatima says, hey. Okay, just a quick update. Shreya cannot see the chat. I'm the one who's looking at the chat. So yeah, I'll be just conveying stuff. Cool. Also, guys, okay, the message on the group is sent by default. That's good. Okay, let's just start. Uh, okay. Fatima said you look nice, Shreya. So that's good.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Chalo,
As
someone appreciates my my look.
Ria said you lied. I didn't lie. Fatima said you look good, and I said you look nice. I just paraphrased something. Okay, whatever. Okay, as I was saying, we'll start the live. You guys already know me, who I am. If this is your first time on the channel, there's should be a red button, red subscribe button. Hit it. Uh, if not, welcome to the Estudly FNL. We go live every Friday. Oh wait, today is a Saturday. We're planning a name change. So welcome to Estudly SNL, where we give you tech news and stuff, and we just discuss about everything but politics. We have today as our guest Shreya. Shreya is she's a doctor, first of all. She's a really cool person. And Shreya, why don't you just tell us about yourself?
Hello, people. Jitne, I mean, the people who I know is just Fatima and I've heard about Ria, but the others, hi. Okay. So currently I'm doing nothing. I was working before. I'm jobless right now. I'm preparing for my GRE. That's all. Nothing as such. But yeah, nice to meet you all. I mean, Aman can see you guys in the chat box. So yeah, whatever.
Cool. By your definition, we all are jobless. So that's fair. That's fair. That's very much fair. Okay, perfect. I'm sure people are excited to meet you, and we just lost you. Okay, that was okay. Your phone just apparently decided to dive. Takshil is here. Hey, hi Takshil. Uh, okay, cool. I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna start with the first story, which is obviously data breaches. Shreya, before we start, you know what a data breach is? Question mark. Okay, that's good. We are updated on the terms. So I'm just gonna share my screen, and we'll get on with it. Okay. Please let me know if you can see me and my screen because it's kind of important. Tech news. Uh, Okay, cool. So the first news is, well, hackers use this software flaw to steal credit card details from thousands of online retailers. So apparently there has been a recent software flaw, whatever. And the issue is it's basically around JavaScript. So it's basically a login issue. Once again, you can read the entire report. But basically, what it says is that 4,000 online retailers. It's not 4,000 people, it's 4,000 online retailers, like Amazon, Flipkart, eBay, and all that stuff. They have been warned that their websites have been hacked by cyber criminals. And obviously, customers' payment information and the personal information was stolen. Now, if you don't know if you have been hacked or not, there's a website we talked about this. You can just go to haveibeenpawned.com and just put your email and then can just confirm if you have been a part of a data breach. But that's basically it for this story. We'll move on to the next one. Data from millions of Brazilians exposed in Wi Fi management software farm leak. So Wi-Fi management software firm, apparently there's this company named WSpot, which provides software that enables to secure their own premise Wi-Fi networks and allow password-free online access to their customers. Now, this is something like, you guys have, you must have heard. Shreya, have you heard about basically like these free geo Wi-Fi networks or maybe BSNL networks which are in colleges? Like,
Yeah, I have.
so they are open, but you join them and you put your mobile number, and then they just give you 50 MBs of free data or stuff, right? Have you
Yep.
Do you know about them?
Yeah, I do.
Basically, okay, right. So that Wi-Fi, that web server, they run a software, right? And you put your information in that. Now, the reason we put information is basically to make sure that someone like a bot, maybe a computer program, cannot just access it without OTP, like without confirming you are a human. Kind of a nice thing, but also that information is going somewhere. And in this case, it was going to WSpot, and they got hacked. So kind of bad thing. Once again, guys, if you yourself have a server like this, make sure you use something which is more secure and more open source. So yeah, next time just be careful. One of the open source router operating systems would be WRT, Open WRT. Just check out. Yeah, as Ria said, airport Wi-Fi. Once again, if you're in an airport and if you're connected to the airport Wi-Fi, anyone can see what you are doing. So yeah, be safe next time you're on an airport. Okay. Next, data breach. Panasonic discloses data breach after network hack. So apparently, all the networks are getting hacked recently. But yeah, it's basically the data was they were illegally accessed by a third party on 11th November, which was exactly before a month, and they have reported. Now, I'm assuming Panasonic is like very timely on report, because usually companies do not disclose that they have been hacked for literally years. So this is kind of a nice thing. But yeah, it's basically a network attack. Someone probably must have accessed some Wi-Fi they were not supposed to. So yeah, moving on to the next story. DNA testing firm discloses data breach affecting 2.1 million people. Now, this is something that I want to personally discuss. Okay, sure. Being a doctor, have you heard about these companies which basically collect your blood sample or your spit sample, and then they give your DNA report,
Yeah.
like 23andMe, Ancestry.com, all those stuff, right?
Hmm.
Now, your DNA, like that's your personal information, right? Your DNA makes you technically. So, if that information was with someone, could it be used for bad purposes? Or could it be used for, like, is that a breach of privacy, or is it just like, meh, couldn't care less? What do you think?
Actually, yes, it is a breach of privacy because they do get a hold of how the entire molecular system and DNA system works of a human body. And if it gets into bad hands, they could get the control of the entire human body system. And that's just not about the one person, it's about tons of them. Because every other day I used to work in hospital, so we used to give testings of blood to the labs and everything. So we were aware about what we were doing and the labs were safe. But there are a couple of hospitals who do work illegally, and they do have tie-ups with the labs and group of organizations who do tend to keep all of these record for their like terrible purposes. So yes, I would say that instead of having the positive impact, it could have a really vast negative one.
Okay, that makes sense. Now I have a question for you. Could your DNA data give you information like I'm assuming, because DNA is basically just information. Could it give you information like your skin color, or maybe what race you belong to? Is it possible to figure out someone's,
Um,
like, the reason I'm speculating this is because your DNA just basically is like a blueprint for your entire body, right? So could it have traits which could be used to identify you? Maybe you are an Asian, maybe you come from America, maybe you are someone who's from Africa. Could it be used to identify those genes? Is that possible if you have a big enough database?
yeah, I would say yes, but you cannot specifically know that this is the person that we are talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can know the superficial data about how that the races, like is it Asian, or is it gonna be American, or is it gonna be European, or as such. And yes, the data just lets you know that is it gonna be the Y X gender, or it's gonna be the Y gender,
cool.
yeah, or XY, and the mutations in there. That's all. But
But it
yeah,
could be used in a way to have racial prejudice in some point,
yep,
in theory, right? So if someone
yep.
has a like in future, let's say, like there are already we just talked about on last week that there are technologies which can scan the palm of your hand. Now it's not wrong to say that in future there might be technologies which can literally scan your DNA, and maybe insurance companies could have, like, let's say your DNA, and they could figure out that, hey, you are at a risk of having this specific disease, and that's why we're going to hike up your insurance. And I don't think that's fair. But yeah, that's very much possible that, hey, you're going to
But
have Alzheimer's in future, so we're going to charge you a lot of premium for your
but
insurance.
also in retrospect, while having the data of how the entire scanning of DNA works, the doctors could predominantly know that this disease is gonna happen, and the people who have like really terrible diseases or the lifelong ones, they can know if there is any cure. So yeah, that's also an added advantage if you see it in that spectrum.
I mean, so everything's gonna have two sides. I'm obviously it's like for the good of humankind. If
Yeah,
it's
but it is gonna be a data breach for sure. That cannot be
makes
denied.
sense. Cool. Uh, okay, Ria says superhuman. Okay. Pankaj says yes, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Okay, moving on to the next story. Once again, guys, if you're gonna give up your data, like just make sure what you're doing. There's this amazing podcast. I don't remember the name. I'll just put it in the link when this live replay goes up. It's basically about how your data, like your DNA data, could be used to track down killers, because like family and stuff. Once again, the video will explain it better than I do, so I'll just put it in the link whenever the replay goes on. But yeah, next story is, well, we have moved on from data breaches to privacy and security. Android 12 privacy settings you should update now. So it's basically, if you have Android 12 on your phone, I'm assume I hope you have, or even if Android 11, that's completely fine. But there are some privacy settings that you need to change. Once again, there's this application named Privacy Dashboard. It's Once again, if you don't have Android 11, don't worry. There's this application named Privacy Dashboard. I put it up on my channel before a few weeks. It basically lets you know whenever an application is using your camera or your microphone. So it is especially useful when, let's say, you have an application which is spying on you, but you don't know. Like your front camera could be active, but you would have no idea, right? So this application will basically give you a green little dot saying that, hey, listen, your camera is active. So even on laptops, like on the laptop, you'll have this little green light or maybe a white light whenever your webcam goes on. That's for the same reason, to let you know that, hey, your webcam is being accessed. Are you cool with that? So Android 12, I'm assuming it does it by default. Shreya, you have a Google phone. I'm assuming it does it by default, right? Whenever you turn on your camera and stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
I can see the green
Yeah.
spot thingy.
Do you think it's useful? I mean, it's like, once again, like with tech, there are some features which are like very hyped, but do you think it's actually useful in real life?
Mm, I mean, I don't think so. At
Okay.
certain level, yes, maybe, but in longer run, I don't think it's needed.
You don't think it's needed? Why would you? Why do you see that as?
Because at the end, it's gonna be breach of privacy, right?
Yeah, I mean, so no, just because the green light exists doesn't mean you are preventing them from accessing the camera. But don't you think it's important that you know that the breach of privacy is happening? Would you not rather know? Does it make sense?
Mm,
Like, would
yeah,
you
it
rather
does.
know that you are getting breached? Like maybe you
Yeah,
cannot.
I rather know. I rather know.
Okay,
Sorry,
fair.
I misconstrued it.
Yeah, that's fair. I personally think it's very useful. Like I would love to know if someone's using my camera, or even someone's recording my audio without my consent or permission. That's kind of a big deal. So I personally think it's a
But do you really think that whatever we do, we would have the full access to knowing that we are recorded or our audio is going to be known to the other person? Because
well,
I don't think if that's gonna be allowed, then how are they gonna know that that they're using a camera? Because or we are gonna be aware about it, right? I don't think we are gonna be fully aware on how uh, they can breach. I mean, I think there's still a loophole.
Okay. Well, so when I say data breach by some other person, I wasn't talking big companies. It could be just an hacker with an application be like, hey, Shreya, hi, this is an amazing application that I found. Could you install it? And you install it, right? Let's say you do. And for some reason, the antivirus doesn't pick it up. Maybe the Google Play Protect doesn't pick it up. And you open it, and now your camera is getting access 24/7. Okay, it's not that Google is trying to access your camera. It's just some random third party hacker is trying to access your camera. At that point you would know, because the Android system knows that, hey, there's an application which is accessing the camera module. So at that point I think that information would be useful. I think so. We'll jump to the next story, because it's gonna be useful. Okay, so okay, as okay, Takshil said, some other apps also provide this. That's true. And Ria said like location also. Yes, that's true. If your phone is getting access, like if your phone is sending location to someone else, you have the right to know. And I think that's kind of very important, even more than microphone or camera. But yeah, let me just go to the next story, because I think this will become more relevant soon. So apparently Qualcomm's new always on smartphone camera is a potential privacy nightmare. Okay, so Qualcomm is gonna come up with this new chip. Okay, it's already in the making. It's I forgot the name. Let me see if it has the name. It's Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Okay. Right now we have Snapdragon 865, 875. The gamers in the chat already know what I'm talking about, but it's completely fine. It's a new chip. Okay. And that new chip apparently has this feature that your camera now can be powered on in a low power mode, right? So it will not take that much battery, but it will constantly be on. So when you reach for your phone, like when you come near your phone, your camera will sense that, hey, someone is near the phone. Let me just make sure that I just turn on the screen for face unlock, or maybe unlock the phone for easier access and stuff, right? So Shreya, do you would you like if your phone is constantly 24/7, the camera is on, turned on, even if you lock your phone is constantly, the camera is on. You know why? Because it's trying to provide you with a functionality that, hey, whenever Shreya reaches for the phone, I am ready to make sure that she has a good experience. Would you like that? Or do you find it creepy?
Creepy.
You find it creepy that, hey, why is some camera 24/7
I
on?
mean, imagine if someone is just going. I mean, okay, it's gonna be bleep alert, but yeah, if someone is going to washroom or is going to use the loo or going for a shower or anything, yes, you keep your phone aside. But I don't think that's gonna be a comfortable thought, knowing that, okay, I my camera is gonna be on 24/7. I wouldn't want that. At least for myself, I can talk about myself.
Yes, obviously. But yeah, I mean that's one of the point. But Shreya, what you seem to miss is your phone pixel. Every pixel device has this now playing feature. What it does is basically it's constantly listening to everything that goes around. And I know you know this. Your phone picks up every single song it hears. So if there's a song playing in the background in the mall, in the shopping center, DMart, doesn't matter, wherever you are, when you reach your home, it will tell you that, hey, there was this song playing at this time. So it technically is listening to you 24/7. Like even when you say that hot word to trigger your assistant, okay space company name, I'm not going to say it. Otherwise everyone's phones are going to just listen, but it's constantly listening to you. Otherwise how is it going to know that you're going to say that word? So are you okay with your phone listening to you 24/7, as opposed to your phone seeing you 24/7? or is it a lesser breach of privacy, or it's like fine compared to the functionality you have?
I
Is there
mean,
a way to?
technically, it's still a breach of privacy. But yeah, I don't think we do have control right now that we can stop our phones listening to us. Or, I mean, I have experienced things that, yes, like you said, my phone can recognize that there's a music playing in the background. And at times when I wouldn't even want to know that there's a music playing, and it would show me the lyrics, and I don't want to know that at the moment. So yeah, it I don't think it's useful, or I wouldn't like that.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, the only way to make sure that it's not listening to you is to literally open your phone and take out the microphone.
Which
The
is not possible.
Yeah, the phone is literally useless. How you gonna call people,
Yeah. So
right? So, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But just letting you guys know, if you're gonna buy a new phone in the next year or so, along with 5G, now you have a camera which is 24/7 looking at you. Yeah, it's literally a privacy nightmare. Okay, the next one is once again about Qualcomm. Qualcomm has a solution for Stingray devices hijacking your cell connection, and apps will be able to use it too. Now, for people who don't know what a Stingray is basically a device used by. Okay, I didn't want to get political, but but whenever there are protests, okay, doesn't matter if it's a peaceful protest, doesn't matter if people are just silently lining up, governments and police will, and it's not about India, guys. I swear, I love India. India is an awesome country. Just a disclaimer, but usually police in US, you know what they did? They would have these devices, Stingrays. What it does is basically when you put your phone on an antenna, okay, your phone will connect to the Stingray instead of the tower, that the cell phone tower. Instead of that cell phone tower, it will connect to this device, and then the police will have information about, basic information about your, what is your cell phone model, who does this cell phone belong to, your IMEI number, all that basic information stuff. And some people are like smart that, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go to the protest, but I'm not gonna take my smartphone, I'm gonna take my, Nokia feature phone. Well, guess what, if it has a SIM card, it could be tracked, because even the Nokia feature phone will try to connect to a cell tower, and then your information is going to go to the police anyway. So it's usually advisable. Like, you might have seen some journalists and some people be very paranoid. They will take your phone, like, some people will be like, hey, no phones. Like, even in spy movies, you see someone, they'll just throw their phone. Like, hey, listen, it's not safe. Even if it's shut down, your phone will try to connect to a network, and it is possible. And that's how your information is there. So what people in US did is they just would not take their phone to the protest. They would go there without phones. But now there's an issue. Now, if there's like something happening, something like police brutality or something that is happening, you need to record it. And it's just basically trying to find the right balance between taking your phone and not taking your phone and all that stuff. It's it Government has a lot more control than you think. That's the sentence on this story. Qualcomm has a solution for this. They apparently have some way of knowing that if you're actually connecting to the cell tower or to some random Stingray, which is basically acting like a man in the middle attack. But yeah, that's basically it. Okay, no comments on this. Yeah, you know what, guys, good. Do not comment anything on this. So yeah, good for your sake. Okay, cool. Next story is kind of informative. I think we are done with the normal stories. Yeah, it's just basically about passwords. Attackers don't bother brute forcing long password, Microsoft engineer says. Like, if you have a really long password, attackers are not gonna even try to crack it. So just some advice, guys: use a very long password. Also, don't use your stupid passwords like, hey, my name is blah blah. That's like the most obvious password. Don't use it, but have a longer password. Also, your fingerprint can be hacked for $5, and here's how. So basically, it's just an how to article on how to do it. Uh, Fun stuff on the internet. But Shreya, do you use fingerprint authentication on your phone? Do you use the fingerprint sensor?
yep.
Imagine you can just get hacked for $5. That's not even. That's less than. That's less than half of what a Ferrero Rocher, the chocolate, costs.
Yeah,
How bizarre is that?
definitely. I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but it's the technology exists. So people who are like, hey, I use an in-display fingerprint sensor, I don't have a proper fingerprint. Guys, you are at more risk than the actually hardware fingerprint sensors, but whatever. Moving to the next story, and before we do that, uh, we'll do our mandatory crypto segment, because that's what we do. Now, if you notice the name on this video, and you know what the name is, it says Eastedly FNL. Okay, ignore the FNL part. Should I make my own crypto token? That's the name. Now, I don't know about you, Shreya, but cryptocurrency is kind of a hot topic at the moment. And now we don't get into the politics of it, but would you forget that there's like a ban and stuff? Okay, would you invest in a cryptocurrency normally? Like, the hype is very high. Would you invest? Do you think it's a good idea to invest into cryptocurrency? Okay, forget I said that. Not good idea. Would you invest? Would curiosity take the best of you and just think, you know what, I'm going to put 500 or maybe $10 into cryptocurrency just to see what happens? Do you think that? Also, the question is for everyone in the chat. Like, did you ever think that, hey, everyone's talking about crypto, I'm going to give it a try? So, Shreya.
Yeah, I think so. I would. I mean, why not? There's a reason cryptocurrency uh, is in rage right now. But yes, if do have the resources provided to me properly, and that I am reassured that okay, if I'm investing something and if I'm gonna be getting the return back, then why wouldn't I do that?
Okay, that's fair. For them, you put a plus sign, so I'm assuming you want to invest in cryptocurrency. Also, Takshil says, will you make NFT supported network in your currency? Takshil, that's a really good question, and we'll get into that. So, Shreya, another question. If I said I have something known as Aman tokens, or let's be more precise, we have Easterly tokens. Would you use them? Let's say one Aman token gets you a cupcake, for example. Would you be open to use the tokens? That's the question.
Mm,
I mean, it's not
I
it's not going to
mean,
cost you anything. So wait a second. Nothing is finalized. I was just thinking about the project, and I have the means to make Easterly tokens now. Uh,
okay, I would say that okay, if it's just for the cupcake or something minor, I wouldn't use that. But yeah, if let's suppose I'm buying something on Amazon or in on some or for example on Myntra, and if I'm going to be getting some kind of discount using your coupon token, then why wouldn't I do that?
Okay, just a disclaimer. So the Easterly token is not gonna be publicly available. The only person, okay, Pankaj says I wouldn't. Okay, that's fair. The okay, I'm just gonna give like an explanation of what my Easterly token will be. It is not connected to any dollar value at all. Okay, it has $0 at the moment. That's how a token works. Okay, so there's a difference between cryptocurrency blockchain and a token. I'm not going to get into the detail of that, but it's just going to be a token which I am planning. Oh, current situation, no. You know what? Fair. If you have a cryptocurrency and if the government is like, hey, if I see you have cryptocurrency, I'm going to basically ask you for 20 million or 20 lakhs or whatever the fine is. But yeah, that's fair. With once again, that's for cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. These are basically what we call utility tokens, and I don't think they're going to get banned. Uh, but we'll see what happens. So the plan I have in mind is something like this. You get Easterly tokens for every single thing that you do related to my channel. So for example, let's say you decide to share my video. This is just an example. Once again, this is highly speculative at this point. For legal reasons, I'm letting you guys know this is not confirmed. But let's say you share my video, and let's say you get a portion of the crypto tokens I have. So I will send you 5 Easterly tokens because you shared my video, right? And now you can use those Easterly tokens. You can, send it to other people. For example, let's say you have enough Easterly tokens, you can go to Akira. Akira was our Shivangi was our last week's guest, right? Now she does this artwork stuff, if you know. So maybe you can use your tokens to and tell her that, hey, I'm gonna give you these many Easterly tokens, you make an artwork for me, right? So that's how you can use the Easterly tokens. It's basically barter system, but more integrated. Just like if Shreya is providing a service, let's say Shreya uh, can Shreya do okay. Let's say Shreya, she writes up essays, for example, right? So what you can do is, maybe if she accepts Easterly tokens, you can use those Easterly tokens, go to Shreya and be like, hey Shreya, can you help me out with this essay? I'm gonna give you these many Easterly tokens. That's like kind of the gist of it. It's gonna be like very small economy. Takshil promotion, yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, once again, there could be this idea was by Ria, and I'm just gonna tell Ria to just take the lead on this the next time. But it's basically, we can have a game night or something. Like if you win, you get tokens. You can use tokens to get into game night and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm planning to make my own cryptocurrency token, just like there's bat coins, or there's Solana and all that stuff. And Takshil, to answer your question, will my token have NFT? Uh, that question does not make sense in a way. My token is based on an existing blockchain. It will be, and that blockchain already has NFT support. So in theory, yes. So yeah, if you're wondering if you could sell your artwork using my tokens, I'm assuming you can. So that's it. Uh, yeah, in future, just if you want to have some part of Easterly tokens, just let me know. But yeah, that's basically it for the cryptocurrency session. Uh, we'll also give you an update of what's happening to my cryptocurrency at the moment. It's going down because of the news and everything. I I'm I somewhere around $1, $10, yeah. So I invested $10 into cryptocurrency. I basically bought every single coin. All of them are going down. So that's that's the cryptocurrency update from my side. Let's get back to the stories. Okay. So the next story is, let's say, what's the next one? And it is basically about researchers discover 14 new data stealing web browser attacks. So apparently, if you are interested in hacking and stuff, there are apparently 14 new ways to steal your data from your web browser. So that's basically the news. Next one is, now see, this affects you. FBI document says that the feds can get your WhatsApp data in real time. So imagine you are having a conversation with someone. Okay, I'm texting Shreya. Let's say I'm texting Shreya about how I had this result. Okay, I got very low marks and I'm sending my result to Shreya. And apparently federal officers can check the data that I sent, check the messages. Shreya, do you think that's a breach of privacy? I'm assuming yes, but like, do you think it's serious enough?
Yep,
Imagine you are talking to your mother or your sister, and it's like a sensitive conversation. Maybe it's about disease, it's about anything. Like, your text messages can be read by some third party. Do you think that's good enough reason to move away from WhatsApp? Can you live
definitely.
without WhatsApp? This is the first question.
Yep, I
Okay.
am living without WhatsApp
Okay, that's do
currently.
you not have groups and communities
I
and
mean, yeah, I do, but it's not difficult. We do have other platforms where we can communicate. I mean, when we got to
okay.
know that WhatsApp wasn't encrypted, there was this phase where where we were told that WhatsApp isn't safe. Then most of the people shifted to either Signal or Telegram, or I don't know.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's fair. It is probable, plausible even that people will move away. But the question is, would they? Because a lot of college groups, now my college group is on WhatsApp, and I cannot afford to not use WhatsApp because it's just something that it is. Most of the, let's say, so basically, I'm teaching kids coding, right? So that group is on WhatsApp. For my work, I have to get on WhatsApp. So I mean, it just kind of sucks. It's not possible for me. Chat, is it possible for you guys to just stop using WhatsApp? Because a lot of our college groups are just on WhatsApp. So, and I mean, a lot of businesses as well. Like, let's say you have to inquire something about a business, and that, like, if you have a business of your own, people will just text you up on WhatsApp, like, hey, you don't have WhatsApp? That's so it's kind of difficult for me personally. Some people, I mean, it really depends, but personally, I think it's really difficult for people to move out of WhatsApp. But if you want to move out somewhere, consider using, well, I don't know, consider using Telegram or something. So, also, Telegram is not end to end encrypted by default. Just keep that in mind. Signal is. So, use Signal, not Telegram, if you want the conversation to be end to end encrypted. But yeah, Fatima said, no, all of my university groups are on WhatsApp. Yeah, that's fair, right? So you cannot afford to leave WhatsApp. Okay, next story is kind of a funny one, but collectors can now text, email, and DM you on social media. Shreya, let's say you borrowed money from a big company. Now they are texting you on your Instagram that, hey, Shreya, you owe us this much money. Let's say your student loans are this much. How are you gonna pay? Would you appreciate that? Like, does it feel like a breach of personal space? Like they are now like they can personally text you instead of giving you a proper formal email or notice. They will just DM you on Instagram. Like, does that sound funny? Because it sounds very funny to me. Like, imagine someone just sliding into your DMs and be like, hey, girl, you look very nice. Also, you have student loan debt for like 500,000. So,
Okay, it is funny actually, but yes, it is. I would say it's just not a minor breach of privacy. It's actually a huge one. Imagine you're sitting at a restaurant and you're just chilling with someone, with a friend or with a like your partner or anything such, and you get this message that, oh, hey, you look really great. But then I think rather than spending money on your restaurant, why don't you pay us back your loan?
that's fair.
That's just way too much breach of privacy. I wouldn't want that. I'd
What
rather
if
have a formal mail written to me.
exactly? What if you uploaded on Instagram? Let's say you're like my, for example, my Instagram profile is public. Let's say I uploaded a nice photo of me having this expensive dinner, and people are like, the debt collector is like, hey, listen, you cannot afford that, and just comments.
Yeah.
Takshil says on Twitter it was. I mean, yeah, it's fair. Even if on Twitter people just like DM you or maybe just reply to your tweet like, hey, listen, you cannot afford to make tweets about companies like that. Like, you cannot afford unemployment.
Yeah,
So
it's like they'll have hold on our every move
yeah,
in a way. And that's, I don't think it's fair.
imagine one more scenario. Someone comes up to you and says that I am from this debt collecting company. You can pay your debt by, or maybe you can get a discount if you pay your debt by clicking this link. How do you distinguish the actual debt collector or someone who's a scammer? Because they are not using formal ways, they are not using email to contact you. So you don't know if it's an actual company email. They are contacting you on social media. How do you even recognize that that person is an actual person? Let's say you get a message that's saying, hey, hi, you have a debt, you will get a 75% off discount on your debt if you choose to click on this link and send money directly to me. Like, that's a scam. So, and that's a very real possibility. Like, I'm not even kidding at this point. It's like a real possibility that people will see that, hey, I will get a discount if I directly just pay it right now. And it's basically a scam. But yeah, sadly, this is the world that we live in. Hopefully the companies will recognize that people will get scammed like this. Maybe they'll have an official system, maybe they'll have some OTP codes or something, whatever. But yeah, next story, and we are in our fourth section, which is, free and open source. Mozilla is ending support for its Firefox password manager sync app, which is, what Mozilla does. Every single nice thing that Mozilla has made, it's shutting down. And I don't understand why Mozilla keeps on doing this. For people who do not know what Mozilla is the company who owns Firefox. Firefox is a really great alternative browser. I think it's the only alternative to Chrome. There are no other browsers other than Chrome or Firefox. Now, if you have a Mac or an Apple, you have Safari, but that's basically it. And there are no other, like, you might be like, hey, no, I mean, I use Internet Explorer. Guys, you still use Chrome. It's Chromium. Someone be like, hey, I use Brave. Brave is still Chromium. So if you think about it, there's not much competition in the market. And if Firefox keeps on making the same stupid decisions that it is making, if we're not going to have competition, and in future Google will have a monopoly over the market, and then if there's a monopoly, that's bad. Should I imagine if there are like two hospitals in a city, and one hospital has literally the entire oxygen supply, and it's COVID time? Do you think it's a recipe for a disaster? Because I think it is, right? So it is monopoly everywhere is a bad thing. There is literally no other open source browser other than Chrome is open. Chromium is open source. Chrome is not open source. Firefox is open source, but yeah, most of also you'd be surprised. 95% of Mozilla's income comes from Google. And you might be like, hey, why is Google paying Mozilla? Well, when you download Firefox, the default search engine on Firefox is google.com. And Google pays billions and billions of dollars to keep it that way. Now, oh, my phone just got activated uh, when I said Google. But yeah, Google, imagine, why would Google pay billions of dollars to Firefox just to keep your default search browser? It must be that important to them if you think about it. So yeah, as Takshil said, internet is centralizing, and we talked about decentralized internet before this, but yeah, it's centralization is a very bad thing. Okay, moving to the next story. Once again, if you guys do use Firefox, you can actually reach out to them on their forums and let them know it's a bad idea. But yeah, talking about open source, Signal, now we can become a Signal sustainer. Basically, you can pay Signal, and you'll have a cute little badge. That's a good thing. So if you donate to Signal while using Signal, is once again a free service. But if you do decide to donate to Signal, now you'll have a badge next to your name that, hey, I'm a Signal supporter. Are you? I think it's a cool feature. Sure. Do you think it's a cool feature? Like, do you think companies should do that more often? Sure. I think your
Yeah.
okay. I think your internet was down for a bit, but okay, you're back. Yeah. Do you think other services should do this? Would you pay Instagram more? Like, would you pay Instagram money if Instagram would give you this fancy badge saying that, hey, I'm this exclusive person? Would you pay Instagram money for that?
I mean, yeah, kind of.
If it's okay, fair. Uh, I don't
Like
think I would.
for couple of minutes, like we have the system that when something happens, something new happens, and everything starts to go in rage. And Instagram is that huge ass platform, we could say that. So, yes, initially it would be trending, then people would want that badges. Oh, hey, see, I have this badge. Aise karke. So, yeah, that would be more of a competition, but I don't think it's needed for the longer period of time. I mean, it's technically um, a scam of sort.
Okay, that's fair. Now, see, now you say scam. I was just gonna suggest that maybe on Easterly we should have badges. Like, hey, if you support
It's
Easterly
technically a
on,
scam.
on your name, or like, okay, so okay, that's a different level. Maybe that's just a badge. Yeah, and I agree, it's a scam. Like, if you're not providing any new features, there's no point in paying money to something. But yeah, like, a lot of YouTube channels have this membership and stuff, and I'm kind of joking right now, but hey, if you support Easterly, we'll give you like a badge. Okay, we'll give you like a badge, like you're a pro level member or something. But yeah, just letting you know. uh, Donation links below. You can also donate in Bitcoin. So yeah, cool.
I'm jobless right now.
Yeah, you can also donate to us both. That would be fun. A percentage of your income goes to her. So
I'm not I'm not getting any sort of income right now, but okay.
cool. Moving to the next story, and also, guys, for legal reasons, that was a joke. Please do not sue us. Okay. Tor, the Tor network. Now, people think Tor networks, they are like this one catch all magic bullet. If you use Tor, you are either a journalist or a hacker or a criminal. Like, hey, who uses Tor? It's the dark web. Apparently, this malicious actor, they are running hundreds of malicious Tor relays. Now, I'm not going to get into much detail about what a Tor relay is, but basically, how a Tor network works is that you have your first relay, that's your first server. Your computer accesses that server accesses this another server number 2, server number 2 accesses server number 3, and server number 3 finally accesses the final server that you want to go through. So it's 3 jumps. Okay. Now, Shreya, do you know what Tor stands for? Tor. Do you know what's the full form of Tor?
Nope.
Okay, so it stands for the onion router. Okay, now we're like, why onions? Like, what does this have to do with onions? So basically, the onion router, because onions have different layers of peel. Like, you have to peel the onion. Same way, when your internet connection jumps from server 1, 2, and 3, when it routes differently, your encryption is basically 3 levels. So it gets encrypted first, second time, third time, then goes to the server, and then it does the same thing: decryption, decryption, decryption. So it's very secure. Now, the reason it's inherently secure is because no one can have access to all the Tor relays, because it's random throughout the world. You can set up a Tor relay, I can set up a Tor relay if I want, which is just volunteering work. That, hey, if someone wants to use my server to access the internet, it's just volunteering work. People do it out of the nicestness of their heart. Someone is setting up so many Tor relays that if they have access to all the 3 Tor relays, they can have access to the amount of data that is going through them. And that is what someone is doing. That someone in this case is, once again, we do not get political, but it's basically just some government trying to get access to the data. I'm sure they have their good reasons, but governments be doing government stuff. Okay, the final 2 stories is, Takshil, I have no idea what you retracted, but if it's a comment about government, I'm glad you deleted your comment. Okay. Apple tracking devices being used in thefts of high-end cars in York region police. Basically, what's happening is thieves are using these Apple AirTags to find expensive cars and then just breaking into them. Uh, it's I don't know what to say about this. Technology can be used for good and bad stuff. But yeah, if you have Apple AirTags, be careful. And then there's the last second story. It's basically about, is your Christmas present spying on you? How to assess gifts privacy risk. So it's basically about how smart products can have Bluetooth enabled or something. But yeah, that's it. If there is a smart device in your home, there's a good enough chance it's spying on you. Recently, so as I'm having, like, okay, a little background. I am pursuing my master's in systems security, cyber security, right? And one of the projects that we have, kind of, is checking the network data that is being sent. So when I check the network data that my smart bulb is sending, constantly it's sending some information constantly, that, hey, I'm up, my system status is online, I'm online. And it keeps on sending that data to, well, it belongs to Cisco, so it's sending that data to Cisco. My smart speaker is constantly sending data to Google. Whatever the recordings are going, it's constantly sending data that, hey, I'm online. Is there so it also has this ultrasonic sensor that if you go near it, it will know. So it's also sending that data constantly. It's all encrypted. They say that it's encrypted, and it's actually encrypted in the transit, but it can be decrypted while it goes to the server. So we're just checking that. And even your phone sends so much data in the background. Like, if you're wondering, there's this application, I'll put it in the link. What it basically does, it will show you how much information your phone is constantly sending to the server, even when it's off, like, even when you're not doing anything. So yeah, your smart device might be spying on you. Just be careful. It's a very scary world out there. And for the last story, we have Lord of the Rings theme cryptocurrency gets thrown in the Mount Doom. Now, if you do not know this, there has been a new token which says JRR token. Now, the person who wrote Lord of the Rings, his name and Lord of the Rings and Hobbit is JRR Tolkien. That's his full name. So someone made a token, JRR token. They just called it that, and then people will kind of investing that. Hey, that seems like Lord of the Rings type of thing. Apparently, J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of the books, he reached out and he actually filed a lawsuit and stuff. So yeah, turns out anyone can make crypto tokens, but it depends on how you use them and stuff. But yeah, that's basically it. So that is the final news. Thank you so much once again for guys joining on our live. As we did a poll on Telegram, most of you want the live to be on Saturday. So I guess now we'll be doing the live on Saturday. So hopefully you can join live on next Saturday. Thank you so much once again for Shreya to join us. She is awesome. I'm pointing to the wrong on my screen. She's on this side, but on your screen she might be down here somewhere. Whatever. My point is, thank you so much for joining. Guys, if you're not on our Telegram community, link in the description, join our Telegram community. It's really fun. If you have doubts regarding whatever, let's say you have a Python programming doubt or C++, doesn't matter. If it's anything tech related, show up in our community. People would be more than happy to help you out. And that's basically it. And if you are not subscribed, and according to YouTube, like 63% of you people watching are not subscribed. If you're one of those 63, just hit the subscribe button. It helps me out. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before 31st December. It would really make my day if you do that. But yeah, that's basically it. Shreya, do you have something to say?
Stay safe. Third wave has started. That's all
Yeah.
I can say for
Is a-
India.
So yeah, guys, be very careful. Wear your masks and get your vaccines if you haven't.
Yes, please
Get
get
your
vaccinated.
Okay, people who this message was for, they'll understand. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for joining on live, and
Bye
we'll
bye.
be going offline in 3, 2, 1.